So this has turned up from Steca yesterday, which is great. It's absolutely wonderful news. It's a 48 volt 40 amp pulse width modulated charge controller, but it's also got auxiliary outputs to act as a divert controller, so it's quite interesting. Under these covers that just pop off, there are all sorts of connections, and these last 6 are auxiliaries, auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2, and they are common, normally open and normally closed, so they effectively are voltless contacts. There, can you see? Auxiliary 2, common in the middle, and normally open and normally closed either side, and then auxiliary 1 next to it. That's a really interesting feature. And of course the other interesting bit is that you don't have to plug your laptop into this. All the adjustments are on the LCD and the buttons. Brilliant. There's a mini card reader, and then these are Ethernet style connections for other charge controllers. So that's the battery, negative and positive. That's the panels, negative and positive. So I've said already that you connect the battery first, and you connect the negative first, then the positive, then the unit will self-sense what voltage it's supposed to run on. Okay, eventually it goes new and it's selected its correct voltage. Then you connect the negative panel, and then you connect the positive, and once that's happened it sorts itself out, and you press escape and it comes up with that there. So over here you've got load, but that's DC load and it's controlled, so if the volts go low that will switch off. So you wouldn't attach your inverter there. If you had a DC fridge you might attach it there, or some DC lighting, but it's limited on current, so major things get attached to the batteries. So let's have a look at the display. And the inverter is running at the moment. So we press escape and this lights up, and we've got the current and the voltage. I'll just talk about the buttons. That's escape, that's up, down and set. So I also point out this little letter here, that's an F, that's for float. If in the evening the voltage of the batteries goes below a set voltage, which we'll cover a bit later on, next time when the panels start charging again, that will change to B for boost, and it will go up to a higher voltage, and if it stays there for a set amount of time, which is in the software, then the next time it will go down to F. But if the battery voltage goes really quite low, then it'll come on to equalized charge and you'll have an E there. We'll cover that a bit later on, but getting into this software, set. Right, we've got output settings. I'm going to show you most of these. And the inverter's stopped now, or the fan has. So we've got the load, an auxiliary 1 and auxiliary 2. So the load will be for this DC load down here. Operation mode, low volts disconnect, there you go, and select function. And then the auxiliaries, which we've talked about earlier on, which are underneath this cover here, which effectively are no volt contacts, normally open and normally closed. Exit, pressing the wrong button. Output settings, internal data logger, not really interested in that. System settings, set language, time, date, clear log, event log, contrast, how to connect things, factory reset. Escape from that. Battery settings, this is the interesting one. Equalizing charging. Okay, want to set that. Operation mode, it's either switched on or switched off. Let me go set, and I've got it off at the moment because we've got other panels working through different charge controllers. We don't really need the equalize function, so we'll escape from that. Cycle, that is when it automatically does it. Oh, I'll show you. No, escape, down, every 30 days, escape, escape. Control mode, that's either voltage or state of charge. Well, we've got other charging systems on this system, so we've got to work on voltage, because there's no way it can work out what the state of charge of the battery is, whether, you know, how much has gone in and how much has gone out and that sort of thing. Escape. Battery type, liquid electrolyte. Escape. Battery capacity, I think I've set this, its default is 200 amp hours and I've set this to what this is. Charge voltages, that looks interesting. See, there you go, float charging. That's what it will go up to, and at that point it will start to pulse width modulate and keep the voltage at that voltage. Come out of that, go down to boost. The start threshold, remember I was saying about if the voltage goes down to, and that's adjustable. Escape. And it's the same for the equalizing charging, and that's adjustable. All you do is press set and it starts flashing, and then you can change it. What else have we got here? That's it. So we'll escape out of that. Start boost charge, that's a manual. Temperature sensor. Cable compensation, that's something to do with compensating for the length of cable between this charge controller and your batteries. Well, we've got a piece of 10mm solar between this and the batteries, but I'll leave that activated. Let's just see it's on. Escape. Expert menu. Right, now you need to put the code in, and the code is 07, no it's not, it is 17038. And I'm not going to bore you with this, but the naught there, you press that and you can set it. And then we'll go on to the nope, set. That's the next one, 7. So we press it to flash, set. Next one is an O, so that's fine. 3, set, set. 8, set. And there, see, I held the set in, and there we go. So equalizing charge duration, that's the duration out when it's reached the voltage. So let's try it for the boost one. 120 minutes, and that's adjustable. And then we've got the temperature compensation, system voltage, and there you go. To get that code for the expert menu, you actually have to go onto the website, the Steca website, and there's a different manual on there. It's got more details. Escape, Right, where were we? Battery settings. I don't think there's any more. No, there isn't. Escape. Main menu, battery settings. Events log, self-test, information. There we go. So let's escape from all that lot. So it's relatively simple. You can see you can play around with these settings, as I've done. You can see I've adjusted a few things to suit what's happening and suit the system. You can have several of these working together, all slaved together, or I suppose you could have several of them working independently, all feeding into one battery from various sets of solar panels, because this will handle up to 40 amps. Well, the solar gate, which has 5 pairs of panels at a nominal 8 amps each, that's your 40 amps. So that brings it into perspective. Well, let's just have a look at the schematic of the settings on this. So that's the manual you get, and it's reasonably inclusive, but the one on the net has got extra details, and it has this schematic of all the choices. So I think we're going to have to zoom in here. Basic settings, battery voltage, state of charge. That's what's on. Some of that's on the display. And then you go across to output settings, which we've looked at, and then you come down to battery settings, equalizing charge control mode, etc, etc. Expert menu. There's the code that I've written in. Come on, focus. You don't want to. Let's just come out of it. And there you go. So if you look on the net, on the Steca website, there's all this lot, so give you more of an idea. But I've gone through it on the display mainly, but there's all sorts of stuff here, and there are some timers there, and you know, you'd have to investigate this at quite some depth if you wanted to, but that's all part of the load and the auxiliaries. Right, let's have a look at this. If you see B for boost, so therefore we're 55 volts, 9 and a bit amps. Now I'm going to manually disconnect the other charge controller, and the volts is going to go up, and you can hear the charge controller pulse width modulating, and the amps have gone right down. And then I'll manually switch the other charge controller on, and you can see the voltage going down and the current going up. And then when it's got below that, you can hear that the pulse width modulation has stopped. And the smiley face is winking at us.